And so here they are getting off at maybe 5 o'clock, trying to get across town to attend the meeting. And every time I mention that, I think it's going to be resolved, but here we are running to Miller Grove again, as if that's the only school in the world, and that's where all the people live. And we had meetings at Miller Grove, and that didn't even involve those schools that were not even in Jay's district, because he's getting a lot for his district over and over. And listen, I'm not player hating Jay. I'm just talking about the people I serve and wondering why that there is a distinction between how these things, money is being handled from one district to the other. And so, Sapora, you were the only one that stood up and told the truth. You walk through these places that they didn't want those buildings to get like that. We knew they were. If somebody, whoever is responsible for monitoring the building, they knew that there was something wrong, but they overlooked it. They thought going and improving on all the money that is spent in other buildings was okay. So you can look funny if you want to, Don McChesney. I don't care, because your schools were not involved, not one. The committee sat there and they got rid of all the schools in the north in a hurry. The parents in the southernmost part of the county sat there late at night, sometime with their children, just trying to see what's going to happen to their family. And then you sit here and the debate that, you think, man, we don't have much. 2 weeks is enough time to get information out to the parents. I just can't. And you talk about technology, but you want to close down the technology at our only elementary school, which is Clifton Elementary School, who's, by the way, is doing a great job, first place winners, but you want to pounce on them too. Take the technology out of that school, the only technological school in the elementary school in the system. Now I sit here and I listen to everybody else's whatever. I didn't say a word, but this is critical to me. All these children are important, and they have not been served like that. And with the arrogance that I see, it doesn't look like they're going to be, because there's already a plan made. And as Ms. Roberts said, when we sat down there, we decided, and we were told by the facilitator, that the board should begin to participate in these committees from the onset. Y'all go off and do whatever you're going to do and come back and say, this is what we came up with. The board hasn't, and then you come back and say, well, so-and-so did a good job and we ought to support it. We are supposed to make the decision after everybody else have made the decision. It's hard to turn things around when you have mindsets like we do. And I want you to know, I'm not going to stop supporting the parents. I'm not going to stop supporting the students. I'm not going to stop supporting the schools, because that's why you're here. We're all public servants. And it's about time that we start looking at serving all the students and all the schools and all the parents.
Ms. Wood, would you like a response from the superintendent on any of the items that you've went over?
What do you mean by that?
No,
to her?
No, would you like the superintendent to respond to any of the items?
Well, I mean, she can if she wants to, but I wanted to make sure I had my say.
Okay.
Because when we sitting up here talking about technology, when we were talking about closing down the only school, elementary school, with that technology and in this Clifton Elementary School. So what school are we talking about? When we talking about parking and we talk about one parking, that's all I heard. I tried my best to get some parking so that some of these meetings could be held. Went to Beulah, that wasn't satisfactory. I know we have ample parking there. We don't have ample parking anywhere, Dr. Walker. We need to look at more than just one location. And that's what I said. That's why I'm saying it's my opinion. So I'm just saying we need to look at all the schools. There's no parking anywhere, I hear, to have a meeting of such size, so all the parents have to come to one location. Now I am not sitting here just to sit here. My responsibility is to support and represent my schools and the school system. And I have done that well. No, he can't cut it off. I sit and listen to you blab all you wanted to. So what make you think you have the right to be cutting somebody else off? That is just impolite and disgusting. Now, if you want to talk, I didn't say anything about you going on and on. I don't care about you going on and on. You can say whatever you want to, but these children are just as important as anybody else's children.
Thank you, Ms. Wood. Now, Ms. Tyson would like to respond to some of the items.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Bowen, Ms. Wood, and other members of the board. I have several points that I want to make, and I want to I want to be very respectful and very deliberate and careful with my words, with no intent of any disrespect to the Board of Education. I respect the work that you do, and I do believe that you respect the work that I do. The intent here today is to communicate to the board that we are moving forward with a school redistricting and consolidation plan that is a moving forward intent this school year to look at the school district system-wide. We are not going back to pull all of the negative things that did not allow us last spring to come to a decision. I am asking for your support to park what ended up being a non-productive process last spring and allow us to look at the situation system-wide, and that I assure you that this focus is system-wide and not focused in one geographical part of the county. The second thing that I want to stress here, and I know I may have to deal with some things behind the scenes after this, but I am your one employee. And I ask that you deal with me as your one employee. And if there is a problem with any of the employees that report to me, you bring that to me and you allow me to deal with that. The staff and I are working very hard to be fair, to be equitable, to be consistent. And if anything that is said here today does not meet the goals of any individual board member or board members as a whole, the point today was to hold discussion so that you can give feedback for things that we need to go back and recalibrate. I want to emphasize, I do believe that the words of 2 weeks does not build the permanent plan. Community members, and I stress that we will have alternative options for the public to provide input and to give input, and we will never lock that down. And I asked the board, as the interim superintendent, to let me know when you need things to be said or done in a different way, and allow me to deal with the staff. But I will assure you that we will work through this plan. It will be a system-wide approach. It will not be isolated to a certain part of the district, that this is about moving the district forward from a comprehensive review of where we need to consolidate and redistrict. Thank you.
And I'm not saying that you won't be that way. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just expressing my concern as an individual who represent children. So if I can sit here and listen again to this, then I guess everybody else should too. I did not bring the 2 weeks up. He did, and Mr. Drake did, and that I was not the board member that said 2 weeks. That wasn't me. So it was disturbing to me, but I sat here and didn't say anything. And that's the problem with that. You know, some people feel like they can say things and it's okay, to the disadvantage of our children. So I hope that you mean what you say, and I don't say anything to the employees anyway. I always send it to you. But this was a presentation that was made to the board, and it was open for our comments. And my comments, Ms. Tyson. I'm listening, Ms. Wood. But you're not looking at me. My comments were how I feel and how I feel that the children feel and the parents feel in my district.
Ms. Wood, we're going to have a couple of folks that want point of order. You've had your rebuttal, and I think that everyone is clear on that. You were uninterrupted. You had the rebuttal.
Well, I tell you what, if this board is going to set some people's time limit, then I don't need to be here. It is not up to them, and that's all I have to say.
Okay, but just for the record, no one's time was stopped, including yours. There was.
You wanted me to respond to what you asked me about Ramona's comments.
And that was a rebuttal, but the rebuttal was designed to be a short response to that specific point. So everyone's had their opportunity to speak. This is a discussion-only phase of this project. This is day one of something that's going to go on many, many months. There are no decisions that will be made today. I don't even understand the 2 weeks in the context of here. If there are decisions that are going to be made in 2 weeks, I'm not aware of them, and they're not on the agenda. So I'm not sure in terms of the presentation where that came from. But let's try to. We've had a lively discussion. We've got a couple more folks, and let's see if we can close this up. Mr. Womack.
I move we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn in second. All those in favor of adjournment, show of hands. We are adjourned. Thank you.